Tonight, 1 year since the attack on the Capitol, President Biden singling out former President Trump. President Biden saying we must absolutely be clear what is true and what is a lie, saying the former president, quote, created and spread a web of lies about the election, that his bruised ego was more important than our democracy, our Constitution. And the president said as the nation and the world watched the horror unfold, what we didn't see. President Biden saying the former president was in his private dining room off the Oval Office, watching it all, doing nothing to stop it, when lives were at risk, when the Capitol was under attack. Also tonight, the unexpected moment today on the House floor. Former Vice President Dick Cheney next to his daughter, Congresswoman Liz Cheney, the only two Republicans there. And what the former vice president told our John Carl about the current leadership of the Republican Party. There is a major winter storm moving into the east tonight. The horrific accidents already, Kentucky, Tennessee, and overnight and tomorrow, this now hits Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, Hartford, into New England. Several inches of snow in many places, and Rob Marciano standing by to time this out. Tonight, the pandemic and the new cases of COVID now setting records in more than 30 states. This evening, news on teens and boosters. And the American Medical Association now calling out the CDC on that guidance that you should isolate for just 5 days. What the doctors group is now saying about that tonight. And what the CEO of Moderna reportedly said today about the possibility of Americans needing a fourth COVID shot and when. Overseas tonight, that deadly revolt in Kazakhstan. Dozens of anti-government protesters killed, at least 12 police officers dead. Russian troops now deployed to support the regime. The growing controversy, the world's #1 men's tennis star held at an immigration detention hotel, not allowed to play in Australia. Vaccine skeptic Novak Djokovic and what his family is now saying. And now top rival Rafael Nadal saying Djokovic knew the rules. And paying tribute tonight to a well-known movie director behind so many classic films.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on this Thursday night. It has been 1 year since the attack on the Capitol, and today President Biden addressing the American people and condemning former President Trump, saying we must all be clear about what is true, saying the former president spread a web of lies about the 2020 election, that the former president did something no president in American history has ever done, that he refused to accept the results of an election and the will of the American people. Tonight, as they mark this anniversary at the Capitol, no fences, but throughout the day, powerful words.
Tonight, we're reporting live from here on Capitol Hill to mark 1 year since the January 6th insurrection, a date that will live on in the history books. President Biden today unleashing blame on former President Trump for, in his words, holding a dagger at the throat of America.
For the first time in our history, the president had not just lost an election, he tried to prevent the peaceful transfer of power.
It was a day of remembrance, but the only Republicans on the House floor, Congresswoman Liz Cheney, and in a surprise, her father, former Vice President Dick Cheney, who said he's disappointed in GOP leadership. Tonight, the congressional probe into who planned the attack and why President Trump didn't try to stop it. And we visit where the Capitol was first breached with CBS's John Dickerson for context and perspective. Could there be another January 6th?
Yes, the forces that led to it are still out there.
The OMICRON surge as the first young teens get their booster. Winter storm warnings. 80 million Americans prepare for heavy snow and freezing rain. And remembering the heroes from the January 6th attack, those who stood strong in the face of adversity.
This is the CBS Evening News with Norah O'Donnell, reporting from the nation's capital.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us from here on the east front of the U.S. Capitol, where flags are at half-staff tonight in remembrance in one of America's darkest days. And just behind me was a candlelight prayer vigil. The insurrection was one of the worst days of injuries for law enforcement since the September 11th attacks.
Tonight, our special coverage, 1 year since the January 6th attack on the Capitol. The horrifying images from exactly 1 year ago. Rioters beating police, scaling the walls and breaching the halls of democracy. Moments ago, the vigil on the Capitol steps, marking that dark day. President Biden addressing the nation, condemning former President Trump for holding, quote, a dagger at the throat of America because he can't accept he lost. And just revealed, Vice President Kamala Harris was at DNC headquarters that day when a pipe bomb was discovered outside. New questions about her safety. And my broadcast exclusive with Speaker Nancy Pelosi on this solemn anniversary.
It breaks your heart. It's as if somebody in the White House dropped a bomb on the Congress of the United States.
Pelosi on the investigation, that stunning moment she was escorted out of the House chamber, and what she now says about this infamous image, a rioter sitting at her desk. Also tonight, the Omicron wave, a record number of children hospitalized, and the top health experts who say COVID is the new normal, what they're urging President Biden to do. And the major winter storm blasting the south with snow headed for the East Coast. Al Roker out.
This is NBC Nightly Tonight from Washington, D.C.
Good evening, everyone. We begin tonight in the virtual shadow of the U.S. Capitol, a symbol of democracy, and for the past year, a symbol of how fragile that democracy is. Tonight, a year on from the attack that stunned the world, anger and sadness, as well as denial and rationalization.